One of the things that we're going to do today is some short 10-minute lightning talks, and we picked an assortment of them that are relevant to the CNCF and the cloud native community. But before I intro our next one, I want to say that all of you who have registered and are attending are doing some good. So as Cube Crash organizers, we've come together to put this event on because we wanted to bring the community together, but we also wanted to do some good. So for every person who registered, we are donating $1 to Deaf Kids Code. And I brought up their mission because I think it's really important for all of us to think about it. So Deaf Kids Code promotes technology, computer science, and design thinking skills as an innovative tool to empower deaf, hard of hearing students socially and economically. So this is, we want to make sure that we are inclusive in our community. And this is one way that we are helping as Cube Crash organizers, but also all of you who are registering.
And maybe many of you didn't know that the CNCF does have a deaf and hard of hearing working group. You do not have to be deaf or hard of hearing to join this working group. We have amazing members like the co-founder of this incredible conference, Catherine Pagnini, who is a very active part of this working group. So I encourage you find out more about this working group. Sandeep and Rob can talk about it a little bit during their various talks today. But join, get involved, and see what you can also do.
All right. And so with that, we are going to introduce our next speaker. It's a lightning talk. And we have Sandeep, who is joining us. He is a lead software engineer at Gen and CNCF Deaf and Hard of Hearing working group member. He has a lightning talk on the hidden power of allyship. So let me add Sandeep to the stage.
Sandeep, hello. Thank you for joining us.
Is my voice clear? You are able to hear me?
We can hear you. We can hear you. It was such a pleasure to meet you in Paris at KubeCon. You had a great talk there. And we're so honored that you made the time to join us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, with that, we will remove ourselves and hand it over to you to talk to the group.
Okay. Thank you. Are you really the same person you say you are? Or is someone impersonating you over the phone? The soft-spoken HR from my current company, Jen, asked me. I closed my eyes. When I was 6 years old, I got affected with fever that severely impacted my brain nerves. Overnight, I got very high power in the eyes and I began to lose my ability to hear. The hearing loss was so slow and gradual that no doctor could detect it. It was only when I was in class 10, about 15 years old, that the doctor correctly diagnosed it as an incurable hearing loss. And it told me I lip read. So lip reading is the art of following what others speak by following the lip movement. I was very good student, but I also was very naughty. And so to keep an eye on me, my teachers used to make me sit on the first bench in school. And so I learned the art of lip reading on my own without even being aware that I lip read. So the chance meeting with doctors changed my life. The sudden onset of disability, it made me stronger, actually. I enrolled for private tutoring. My grades began to get better, and I got admission in engineering in merit category without choosing any disability quota or concession. Engineering is where you get wings to fly. But for me, I lost my wings. It turned out to be a nightmare for me. In a class of nearly 80 students, there were 13 girls who occupied the front row. The second row was left blank. In India, it's common that boys and girls don't sit together. And in the third row, I sat with other boys. And with my weak eyesight, I couldn't reprint the professors. I found it very hard. And from being a topper in school, I failed in a subject in engineering. I have never known what it is to fail. Always succeeded. But yeah, I was a total failure. And I just wanted to give up on life. As I held my mark sheet with an F in a subject, with tears streaming down my face, a hand gently tapped my shoulder. And there was a chit. The chit read, "Sit next to me and copy notes from me." I looked behind to see my college topper girl waving it. So the next day, I went to college early and I sat in the middle of first row and I switched off my hearing aid. And one by one, everyone came and I was the lone boy in the middle of 13 girls. The whole class laughed for a good 1 minute, but that laughter that I enjoyed, with the help of my friend, I converted my F into an A. After my engineering, I wasn't lucky to get into campus because I had an F. I wasn't even eligible to apply. And no HR was willing to hire a person who couldn't listen on the phone. The same friend who had helped me in college, she asked me to go to a city, the city of Chennai in South India. She said there is a company that openly hires people with disabilities. And so I packed my bag and went there. The CEO of that company, he welcomed me with open arms, given that I had come from so far, and he offered me a job on the spot. And thus, thousands of miles away from my home, I began my career in software engineering in a city where neither food, nor climate, nor language suited me. And yet, I persisted because I had the most wonderful manager anyone can ever dream of. And whatever I am today, I still owe to my first manager who molded me. After 3 years of non-stop coding in multiple languages, my manager sent me to my client's place. My client was the chief IT officer of a multinational bank, and it was the first time I was meeting him. And he had a long Santa Claus-like beard. His lips weren't even visible. How to read them? And I was struggling to follow what he spoke, and he was very frustrated. He refused to write for me, and I called up my manager. And my manager said, "Give him a few days time." The client said, "He will give me 7 days time." I was supposed to finish this project in about 45 days. I finished it single-handedly in just 30 days. The client ended up becoming a very good friend. So when you deliver value and excellence, you can go beyond your discipline. So I stayed in this company for 6 years. It was the golden phase of my career, traveling and deploying banking software. One by one, my friends began leaving the company and switched jobs. I wondered how I would give an interview given that I couldn't listen on the phone. I made my profile, but I could never get past that HR round because they weren't willing to hire me since I couldn't listen on the phone. So my friend, my roommate and I came up with a hack. In my profile, I put his mobile number and he pretended to be me. Every time the HR would call, he would pick up, pretend to be me, and just speak on my behalf. This trick worked, and one such call came from my current company's HR. And my friend on my behalf asked for a face-to-face talk. So the HR would call my friend would text me like go to this floor, go to that floor for the interview. The HR was not aware of this. I finished 4 rounds of interview and then was waiting for the fifth round. It was so long, and so I went to the cafeteria and began sipping a cup of coffee. After about 15-20 minutes, the HR came. I've been calling you since so long, but you're not picking up the phone. At the same time, my friend, who had suddenly been called to a meeting, at the same time, my friend, who had suddenly been called to a meeting, came back and said, sorry, sir, I had an emergency. I couldn't pick up the phone. Tell me which floor I need to go. And the SS, you are Sandeep speaking on the phone? My friend, yes, sir. But Sandeep is sitting right in front of me. And the SS told me, are you really the same person you say you are? Or is someone impersonating you over the phone? And I said that the person on the phone is my friend impersonating me just to facilitate interview because we have to find a way around the non-inclusive hiring system. And the usher was amused and wished me luck. And since then it has been 11 and a half years for me in my current company. And I'm blessed to have a wonderful manager and a wonderful team. So 15 years of my career had passed. And when I was traveling, I happened to see a video of Kunal Kushwaha and Priyanka. They were talking about the work that CNCF does. And in the description, there was a link to apply for scholarship. I have to admit honestly that even after 15 years of my career, I had no idea about KubeCon, CNCF, all that. And I found that today was the last day of scholarship. And I applied and forgot about it. And before I knew, I was attending the KubeCon in Detroit. The next time, I got a chance to attend KubeCon in Chicago. And that's where I came to know that Catherine, she had helped to found and sponsor the Deaf and Hard of Hearing Working Group. And that is the first time I met so many deaf people. We teamed up together and pretty much all of us spoke at the KubeCon in Europe. And it really wouldn't have been possible without Catherine, who worked behind the scenes to make sure we could all get a speaking slot. We all were teamed up together. Speaking at KubeCon Europe was a really and truly wonderful opportunity, and the accessibility at the KubeCon is really amazing. People come and tell me that they find my story inspiring, and I wonder that my story is about the story of wonderful Ellie, like the friend who helped me in college, who helped me to get my first job, to my CEO who welcomed me openly, to my manager who molded me, to my friend who handled all of my interview calls on my behalf, to Catherine Ratno, who made sure that I was a part of the deaf and hard of hearing working group and that we all got speaking. So, summing up, I'll say that you don't have to move mountains to be an ally. All it needs is just a spark of empathy, and the small spark can create magic. Thank you.
Sandeep, that was fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. I especially liked when you were talking about your most wonderful manager, and I think it just speaks to, all of us who are working in this space. If you manage your person, you have a lot of responsibility there. You can be an ally, whatever that person might be up against. One person can make a huge difference. There was a comment from one person in the chat that did say that they too had problems seeing lips with bearded people. So, if you are a bearded person, you might just want to trim that back a little bit. Again, it's, not moving mountains, but doing small things. So, thank you, Sandeep, for that. And thank you for calling out Catherine, who is a she's behind the scenes working on Cube Crash, but she is a huge member of the Deaf and Hard of Hearing working group. And she did fantastic things at CubeCon, making sure that everyone was included. And it was really, really special and great. So Sandeep, thank you so much for your story today. Really appreciate you being here.
Yes, and you have a lot of love that you're getting in the comments. So definitely make sure you read all the wonderful things people are saying about you. And thank you to advocates like Catherine, and definitely encouraging everybody to get as involved as possible. So thank you, Sandeep. And thank you also to the folks who put the comments in. I understand that the closed captions with the Hopin platform is one of the many things we'll be giving Hopin feedback about with their platform. There are ways, I think one of our attendees said, if you remove the background, you can see the closed captions a little bit better. So there are some tricks that we can do for those of you that would like to use closed captions. We are a very international audience, so oftentimes we have, English is not the first language of a lot of people that are speaking today, and it's wonderful that we have such an international crowd and that you're all using our language, because if we tried to speak in your languages, you would definitely need closed captions and an interpreter. So thank you, everybody who are accommodating the language of English today. But we love how many countries and continents we have folks attending from today. So thank you, Sandeep.
Thank you, Sandeep. With that, we're gonna remove you and say see ya.